To the Spanish Grand Prix, they were moaning and groaning and whining about dull Formula One. Then we had Montreal, and now we've got this. This is great motor racing.
And brake on the inside, Rubens. There's a lot more grip. There he goes. Look, yes, he's taken an unusual line where the tarmac is less used, less polished. You get an awful lot more grip there. Rubens just seems to have found that, and suddenly Michael didn't take as much out of him.
Trouble. He was right up at the front. He's now been passed by Eddie Irvine, who, as he did in Montreal, is really on a charge. He's in 7th position ahead of the McLaren. No McLaren in the points, one Ferrari in the points, and the other Ferrari, one place behind Jarno Trulli, who is 6th. That's Barrichello leading. Schumacher is 2nd. They're completing lap 43. That's Harold Princeton behind them. So it is Stewart, Ferrari, Jordan, and in the background you see the other Ferrari of Eddie Irvine. There's only 5 seconds covering the first 6 places.
And Michael's got to not let his car run to the outside white line. He's got to stay on the black stuff, and he just does it. So he doesn't lose as much on Barrichello this time. Can Barrichello repeat his better braking up the inside into Adelaide, or will Michael come at him? And here comes Michael.
Yes!
And this time Michael should make it stick. Yes, he does.
Oh, marvellous by both of them. But Michael Schumacher showed the way and leads in France on lap 44. And now Harold Princeton has seen what his countryman has done. He'll be having a go at Rubens Barrichello now. So Ferrari leads, Stewart 2nd, Jordan 3rd, Prost is 4th, Williams is 5th.
Here we go, Murray. Look, Michael coming again from a long way back, and he's just squeezing that brake pedal, not really even attempting to slow down in any big way. Rubens too tentative, and that gave Michael all the space he needed.
Ring the bells in Maranello, because Eddie Irvine, there you see him, is in 6th position. He's in the points. He's past Trulli. He's right up behind Ralph Schumacher's Williams. The first 6 are in the same shot. That's the race leader. Now is Michael Schumacher with 29 laps still to go, 28 laps now still to go. Going to make it 5 wins from 6 French Grand Prix as Eddie Irvine on a replay goes ahead of Jarno Trulli up into 6th position.
Nice move from Irvine, and suddenly the Ferrari's coming alive in the rain, and I think that was very well predicted by James Allen. They could well have put a wet setup on, gambling on that rain later in the race, and now they're absolutely flying. And this Schumacher boy seems pretty handy, Murray.
Yeah, this Michael Schumacher in the wet is superlative. Remember that incredible win, the first Ferrari win he had in Spain, in conditions that were unspeakable, much worse than we've had today. And then he won at Monaco in the wet. Michael Schumacher, like Rudolf Caracciola before the war, is the German rainmaster, this time in an Italian car, but the skill is just as great as his previous great countryman. And Michael Schumacher is now pulling away, hand over fist, from Rubens Barrichello. And Harold Princeton is having a look at the white steward all the time, wanting that 2nd position, which Princeton had in Australia, the first race of the year. So now Michael Schumacher's got to keep it quick, but he's got to keep it smooth, and he's got above all else to keep it on the island for 10 World Championship points, which would take him back into the lead of the World Championship. Mika Häkkinen is still only 8th.
Yes, and Irvine, you at the back of this pack, look, crawling all over the back of Ralph Schumacher too now, so Irvine still very much on a charge, but now he's got a lot of cars to pass if he's going to make any impression on his teammate who's currently leading the race. But this is looking a bit sick for McLaren, both in the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship.
Ferrari are already 9 points ahead of McLaren, despite Häkkinen's success at Montreal 2 weeks ago, and Eddie Irvine only being in 3rd position there, and Michael Schumacher out of the points. Ferrari are back here, but I remind you, there's still a long way to go. And we've seen what can happen in this race already. There is Irvine, and ahead of him, behind the Prost there of Olivier Panis, that's Panis, who is in 4th position rounding Adelaide. Behind him is Ralph Schumacher in the Williams, who's driving another fine race, and Eddie Irvine is in the Ferrari behind the Williams. Schumacher has already had 4 points positions this year in the Williams, which is much slower than some of its rivals. It's got a less powerful engine, but Schumacher is making the most of the experience that he now has. I'm talking about Ralf Schumacher in his 40th Grand Prix, and he's not only staying ahead of Eddie Irvine, but he's right up behind Olivier Panis's Blue Cross. That is Ralf Schumacher. He is in 5th position. And actually, in these wet conditions, having less power is not going to be nearly as much of a disadvantage as it would have been if it had been a dry race.
It's all about drivability now. It's all about how the power delivery comes from the engine, how flat is the torque curve, and how smoothly you can get some kind of traction down onto this racetrack.
Meantime, up at the front of the race, Michael Schumacher, having taken the lead, has now increased it to 5.5 seconds. Between Barrichello, who is second, and Eddie Irvine, who is in 6th position, there is only 3 seconds. That's how close the race it is. As you look at Barrichello in the white car, Frentzen, who is 3rd in the yellow car. Schumacher accelerating away from the Adelaide hairpin. Prost, Schumacher, Ralf and Irvine. 4th, 5th, 6th. Schumacher's going for it.
Yes, and Ralf there all over the back of Panis, so Panis getting a particularly poor run out of Adelaide hairpin, having to go and defend his line, but still made it down to Nürburgring chicane first. And Eddie Irvine, and with Hakkinen now reclosing on Irvine, as you can see.
Yeah, Mika Hakkinen taking advantage of the fact that whilst Olivier Panis is going very quick, I've got little doubt that Schumacher, Ralf would pull away if he could. Louise Goodman's got some news.
I'm standing here with Damon Hill. Damon, bad into a bad weekend for you.
Pretty typical this season. Shame, because actually in the race I think they could have made a good pit stop at the right time, but it went pear-shaped with an arrow punctured on its side.
And you're now saying that this could be your last race to do construction, right?
It may well be, yes. There's some deciding to be done about things.
Thanks very much, Damon.
Louise Goodman, that is a fantastic statement. Did you hear it, everybody? This could be Damon Hill's last race for Jordan, and therefore as a Formula 1 driver, I hope that's not true. But Eddie Irvine, meantime, with Hakkinen right behind him, and Ralf Schumacher ahead of him, and Panis in the blue car are making a fantastic race of it for 4th position.
Go and talk to him, Murray, after this race. He's got to go to the British Grand Prix. Go and have a look.
Well, there will be tens of thousands of, use this phrase advisedly, broken-hearted people if Damon decides he doesn't want to drive at Silverstone. I do very sincerely hope that he will, well, maybe he hasn't made his mind up yet, but I'm sure he will think of the fans. I have supported him so magnificently over the years. We're on lap 48 in France. Michael Schumacher is way out in front now.
You see the word liquor on the car there, that's because of the cigarette advertising rules here in France, and they've got drivers' names on both of the McLaren and various other situations.
Now, Olivier Panis is a bit of a roadblock at the moment. You can see the way everybody is closing up. He is understandably refusing to yield because he wants to catch and get past Heinz-Harald Frentzen. But behind Panis, there's this string of cars now. Panis is 4th, Schumacher is 5th, Irvine is in 6th position. There is the Ferrari. In 7th place is Mika Hakkinen, who can't do anything about Eddie Irvine. And Mika Hakkinen would really welcome that one World Championship point. It could make all the difference to the championship at the end of the year at the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka on October the 31st. But Eddie Irvine is going to be a mighty difficult man to pass, because he will know that point that he could retain if he stays ahead of Mika Hakkinen would help not only him but Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. Both the Ferraris are in the top 6 at the present moment, and that is the only constructor that is. Wow, 12 cars left. Of them, 11 are on the same lap. All 12 are on the same